My name is Theron Lewis. I'm one of the founders of Sharing Philadelphia. This is the association that has been fighting for you guys' short-term rentals. We're the folks that have gotten this ban delayed to 2023. This did not happen by accident. Yes, please clap. Thank you. And everybody on this panel, you know, they were pivotal in this. So that was a very big win for us, but it's not over. We have one more thing to do, which is to get this ordinance changed or removed. And we've made the inroads to be able to do this. Now, I think there's some of you in the audience that was here, not literally here, but in the at our last awareness meeting a year ago. Who, raise your hand if you were here a year ago at the awareness meeting? Yep, I remember you. One person, two, there we go. Yeah. Most of us were here, you know, yep. So, you know, I just want y'all to look around and see the difference. We had about, I'd say 13, no, not 13. We had about 20 or so folks show up to that event. It was during COVID, definitely understandable, but that was when things were looking the worst. This was right after they passed the ordinance, and everybody thought that their short-term rentals were gonna be banned, and they were gonna lose their livelihoods. And we came on the stage and told everybody that we had a plan that's worked in 10 other cities, and we're confident that we're gonna be able to get this changed. And now, fast forward to this year, the ban's been delayed to 2023, and instead of 30 people, there's way more people in the audience right now, and all of you guys still get to operate. So I just wanted you guys to give yourselves a round of applause for being here, and for the people who were here in the beginning, supporting us all the way to now. Because, I mean, look, that was then, this is now. We've clearly come a long way. But I knew that we would get here. I knew from the beginning. And the reason why I knew is because my journey started in Detroit, Michigan. That was where I started my short-term rental business, and I put everything into it. I left my job, put my life savings in there, and I got successful, you know, like enough to replace my old income. You know, I was able to pay my rent and do the things I needed to do. And out of nowhere, they were proposing a ban that was going to be passed in 2 weeks in Detroit. So I went from, you know, proving people wrong, actually making something, you know, out of myself with an entrepreneurial venture, was able to leave my job and actually survive, to almost losing everything in 2 weeks that I spent years building this business up. And I bet most of you in here feel the same way. That's why I do what I do. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because we know how it feels. And that's where I learned how to advocate for the industry. And we went from almost losing everything in Detroit to getting that complete ban pulled, and actually making friends with the folks in government to where they're protecting us. They actually passed a bill in Michigan that bans bans. So they can't, yeah, exactly. Ain't that a beautiful thing? Let's have the bans on our side, right? I want some bans for bans, right? Yeah, so but in all seriousness, that's what happened. And this has happened in other states, and we've been successful in 10 other cities. Philadelphia is up next. We've already been super successful, and we just need to do a little bit more to finish this fight. So that's why we're here. And first of all, what I really want to do is give a big thank you to the sponsors. We have Minute. They weren't able to make it today, but everybody who has their handouts, that's the one with the device on it. Yeah. That literally can single-handedly stop you from having issues at your short-term rental. I'm talking parties, smoking, disturbances. It's a revolutionary product, and they're supporting us. So I want to thank Minute, and we're going to go more into that in a second. And then I also want to thank Lazy Key and the founder of Lazy Key, Meitu Metev. Give him a big round of applause, because guess what? Y'all are staying in his property right now. This is, you know, this company has provided that for us, and this is the owner of that company. And he's also a member of Sharing Philadelphia. He's provided logistics for this event. Like, we really thank him. And I want to give you the floor if you want to say anything about how this, you know, how much this means to you, because I know it does.
All right, guys, it is our absolute pleasure to host this event tonight together with Airbnb and Sharing Philadelphia, talking on behalf of Lazy Key and Sharing Philadelphia. This event, tonight together, we will determine the future of short-term rentals in Philly. This is why we're here. This is why every single one of you has taken some of your personal time to come here and help on this mission. This event is not organized by the city. It's not organized by a Fortune 50 company. It's not organized by anyone but you. And I want to take this moment to thank everyone for your personal contribution, for your role in this process, because it's extremely important that we continue the fight and make sure that short-term rentals are not only legal, but also healthy and sustainable in our beautiful city of brotherly love. A few years ago, we started Lazy Key, and one of the first investment funds focused on short-term rentals in the United States. We learned the hard way that we need boots on the ground to manage real estate efficiently, especially when we're not present in the units. Probably most of you don't live in the properties that you manage. And we never really knew what was happening in our rentals. If guests checked in or out, if they brought 50 additional people, if they're having a party, if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're potentially dangerous. So we decided to address that problem and build a revolutionary platform that's based on computer vision and allows us to manage real estate remotely. I urge you after this event to test it out yourself on the big screen outside. It's pretty amazing what it can do. It allows you to stay on top of operations real time and follow guest traffic and actions without compromising guest privacy. And again, after this, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and once again pass the ball to our amazing board and support us on the mission of sustaining short-term rentals in the city of Philadelphia.
Thank you so much, May, too. Give him a round of applause. And real quick, to really sum this up for you guys, and then let me know if I'm right about this. Actually, let me pass this mic back to you. This technology that you have is the reason why you have such a successful short-term rental, but no parties. No parties get thrown here. This isn't a party, by the way, guys. This is an event. This isn't, But seriously, you don't have ragers. You don't have the disturbances that we're always the scapegoat of.
This technology allows us to understand real time what is happening with our units without being present there. It understands everything that the receptionist, a real human behind a desk, will follow in guest traffic. It recognizes, obviously, people count, emotions, objects, anything that really we would observe with our guests if we were to be in the property. So that is really what Lazy Key and Rental is about. Again, I urge you to step outside after the event and check the technology yourself on the TV. It's pretty interesting and amazing and extremely powerful in allowing companies like ourselves and hosts like you to maintain a healthy set of guests and also obviously expand portfolios and mostly allow short-term rentals to grow in a healthy and sustainable way, without parties, without disturbances, without issues, without problems for neighbors, because I believe that noise and parties is #1 concern for our neighborhoods, for our communities. That's the main reason why short-term rentals see so much resistance in local communities, and also why the hotel lobby is pushing us to ban short-term rentals in the city of Philadelphia and many other places.
So you are a part of the solution here. This is what it's all about. Give them a round of applause. Yes, one more thing. So, and I want to announce one thing with regards to Minute, because they couldn't be here today. And like, the sponsors that we have, like, you have someone who's local that's providing their space and providing their technology to solve the problems that we have. In a minute, that they're minuscule, but they're important. Meaning, we know that most of the bad actors, they make a small percentage of the industry, but they ruin it for everybody else. So they need to be, let's say, helped. We need to alleviate those. We need to remove issues from our industry like this. And you have a local individual who's here to provide his space and do things like this and provide these services to people, these are things that you guys should take advantage of, you know? And then with regards to Minute, since they're not here, I wanted to relay what they wanted to offer. And just so you guys know what Minute does, it is a prevention tool. Now I'll say this, it's not as robust as Lazy Key, and this is truly special technology, but this is something that we would love it to be a no-brainer for somebody to just pick that up and use it if they have 1 unit or if they have 20 units or something like that. But the more that we have these things in our properties, the less that the government can say that we are a problem, because that's what they try to use, even though that's a really small percentage of the actual hosts here, and the actual hosts in the entire industry. So now this only happens if we reach our fundraising goal for today. And that fundraising goal is $7,000. If that's reached, Minute will give everybody in this audience a device for free. For free. And 2 months free of services. So everybody has another way to prevent parties, prevent noise disturbances. This is what they want to do for you guys as community. And that's only for you guys. So I want y'all to give Minute a round of applause, because they're doing that purely out of their own pocket. So if we reach our goal today, everybody here will get one for free. All right? Just wanted to make sure I said that. And now I would just love to continue the introductions to the rest of our great panel. Jose, if you wanted to go ahead and speak, he's the another founder of Sharing Philadelphia and has been doing everything, you know, like on the ground and more to make things happen. He's been talking to council members. He has special like just he seems to have special access to all the council events just because people like him. Like Councilwoman Maria Quinones Sanchez. He made a great relationship with her, and she's one of our big supporters as well. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor.
Well, thank you, everyone, for coming. I've been here since day one, literally. Been giving testimony before this ordinance passed. While I was in session, I helped organize the association with our lobbyists, even before Theory came on board. And I'm so inspired by seeing everyone here. I mean, literally, when I started, I thought it was just me. Like, holy smokes, I'm gonna lose it all. I have all my eggs in one basket. I'm here in Philly. Like, they passed this, that's it, I'm done. I literally quit my job to start this. And in 1 year, I was able to literally replace my income, and this is my income. So for me, it's like very personal. I live in Philly. I have all my units in Philly, and just seeing everyone here compared to how I was last year. I mean, last year it was pretty hopeless, and now that we've been able to have it pushed back, now we have actually had council members, Department of Commerce, LNI, like we're at the table now. Like before, we wouldn't have been able to even have a conversation. Like they didn't want to hear about individual hosts. They wanted us to, when we unite like this as an association, literally all the hosts, because you got to think about it. It's not just us that this is going to impact. Like I was talking to a couple of you here, like our cleaning team, our maintenance team. There's people whose income relies on our units getting booked. So if this gets banned, like it's not just me, it's me times 4. It's you times 4. So I'm very excited. I've been fighting for all of you, for me, like since day one, and I'll continue. And I'm very optimistic that we could definitely get this pulled. I mean, we have Airbnb policy right here with us. So I'm gonna pass the mic to her. So.
All right. You know, I have to do your introduction, guys. So everybody always asks, hey, you know, what is Airbnb doing in this? Well, where's Airbnb at in this fight? Well, Kelly represents that in all of these situations. She has been a part of this since the first event we had last year, and we've been working constantly together, sharing information. You know, basically we're doing our part on the advocacy side, and then they're doing their part as well. And because of what we've been able to collaborate and do together, we're here today. And, to show support, you don't always get to talk to somebody from Airbnb in person. She's literally here in person to talk about what this means to Airbnb, because we know that that's such a big thing. But probably everybody on here has their short-term rental on Airbnb, so you guys get to learn directly from Airbnb where they stand in all of this. So, yeah, please give a round of applause for Kelly Fay.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Kelly Fay. I am a member of Airbnb's public policy team for the Northeast, and have been, working with Sharing Philadelphia, working with some of the various stakeholders, the city council, sponsors, the city council themselves, and L&I, kind of trying to work through this over the last year. And I think to your I think you made the point that initially there didn't really seem to be a chair being pulled up at the table on this discussion. It passed quickly, and things started to move really quickly, but I would just applaud the work that you all have done in kind of really raising the flag to the people who might not have known what was happening, and kind of alerting them. Education has been huge on it, and it's very easy to say, hey, we're going to pass a bill and it's going to fix all the problems, but once you really get into the nitty-gritty of what will this do, what's the longer term impact of it, what are the barriers to people even complying in the first place, that educational piece was huge. So I do really applaud all of the work that you all have done organizing and having those conversations. And I think that one thing that is really important to keep in mind, something that you spoke about, is that there's going to be someone who is representing you all, whether you decide to be part of that discussion or not. And in this case, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? There might be an issue or a party, and that's what's getting brought to the attention of elected officials. That's what makes things like these kind of happen. They happen quickly. But what initially I think was missing was the voice of all of you, and that's really become louder and become more involved. And I think that now that we have this moment and they're acknowledging, hey, there are very real barriers. There are very real barriers to people getting the licenses they need. There's millions of dollars in tax revenue that you all are bringing in. That understanding is really starting to click to the Secretary of Commerce and other kind of stakeholders in this web of things. Raising that and educating folks has been huge. And I think that one thing I wanted to, piggyback of all of this is to say that, again, that you are going to be represented by a bad apple if you are not the person who is coming in to talk about how the good that it's doing for your community, the good that it's doing for you, and how you are a responsible host. And also how this isn't a workable system and it's not reasonable. And can we work towards a resolution that is? So I think just in the immediate, right, we have these next couple months, but representatives are coming back from vacation, city council is coming back from vacation. I think that it would be really great if everyone could take that first step and commit to making a phone call to their city council member who may have voted for this bill but not realize that this is what's going to happen. They may not realize the implications. And raising that awareness while we have this to build that momentum, because that has been just absolutely critical in getting this delay, and to get everybody to kind of take a step back and say, what is actually going to be the impact of this? So I think I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really glad to finally get the opportunity to meet so many of you. Like, I started working on this during 2020, and so I think it's really great so that we all can kind of get together and celebrate the win again, and just kind of keep the eye on the prize, and know that it's not over, and it's really important for you all to be out there speaking about the impact and making yourself kind of a mainstay to some of your representatives. They need to hear from you. This is going to impact you. It's going to impact their district and the city at the end of the day, and now is the time to make that clear and ask for some changes to be made. I'll pause there, I guess.
Hey, couldn't have said it better myself. You got to give a round of applause for that. Yeah. So up next, and I just, look, everybody here is the best, but I got to say we saved the best for last. I got to give them that. So if y'all don't know Mr. David Dix, y'all need to get to know this person, because he's not going to be unsung anymore, but he would be an unsung hero in this whole thing, because he is a part of Luminous Strategies, and that is the consulting firm we've been using to get in the room with all of these decision makers. Okay, I know y'all have heard the L word before, lobbyists. Just to make sure y'all understand, what they do. That's not a bad word. These are our let's put it like this. These are our silver bullets, guys. Like, we wouldn't be able to communicate and get the right people in the room without their help. They were pivotal in all of this happening. And it is key that we can continue working and getting this stuff done. And that's where you guys come in. But I'm gonna pause there because I just need to talk about everything that David has done already. He is the reason why we were able to convince and get in contact with all of those council members and actually get this delayed. When you guys see these public hearings happening and you hear the stuff that is on the surface, that's the tip of the iceberg. What's really happening is professionals, people that have the right connections, the people that know how to reach these folks, get in rooms together and work things out. Because of him, they were working things out about us. We were at the table, and we're still at the table because of Luminous Strategy. So these are the folks that you guys have been graciously, providing your dollars to support, along with all of our operations at Sharing Philadelphia, and it's gone to a hell of a good use. That's all I have to say, because that's why we have this stuff delayed to 2023. So please give a big round of applause for Mr. David Dix.
Introduction, Theron. I have to coin that for future use for sure.
We got the recording.
I've never heard an induction as illustrious as that one. So thank you for that.
Came from the heart.
Bad things happen when they're happening in the dark, and this piece of legislation happened exclusively in the dark, without any input from most of the people in the room, without any input from the industry professionals who have seen this happen and promulgate in other cities, without them ever asking to hear your opinion, right? And Luminous Strategies was fortunate to get the call, but after this happened, after the council passed this 16-0, after the hotel industry weighed in heavily with their lobbyists and bevy of lobbyists to make sure that it was not only just a curtail on the industry, but a huge slash at the industry, ultimately leading to the demise of 70% of Airbnb operators in the city of Philadelphia. That was the goal, and it's such a nefarious one that we do have to take stock, as Theron said, in the success that we've already had. Right, so we got in late, we got engaged late, they had already passed the bill, and all this happened in the dark without our input. But I'm happy to report that in the last 6 months, we've had a lot of input. I have to lift up a few city council members who have been integral into getting our voices heard. City Councilman Isaiah Thomas, who's a city councilman at large. You already mentioned City Councilwoman Maria Quinones Sanchez, and as well as City Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson, have all, at first blush, understood how this affected commerce and business in the city of Philadelphia. Another huge point was when they brought in a new commerce director for the city of Philadelphia. And she was someone who was able to hear our pleas with fresh ears and fresh eyes without any of the kind of backstory that had happened before. And she was like, this doesn't make any sense. There's no way we can implement this. There's no way we can do this in a safe way. And by the way, we're going to be losing out about $6 million in tax revenue, just tax revenue alone. And we'll be stifling a business that brings in $70 million in revenue to the city of Philadelphia. You have a $400 million budget in the city of Philadelphia. $6 million is significant. It's super significant. And the peripheral business that comes from all of you operators. I've heard people who host parents of children who were at CHOP for extended periods of time, who would not be able to afford to stay and see their children take the care outside of options like Airbnb. And you still have council people like Councilman Squilla who think that 70% of operators should not exist in the city of Philadelphia. So we have a very stark fight. Those members of council who have voted 16-0 last year and have not changed their position need to hear from the folks in this room. They need to know that there are operators right in their districts, right near their homes, right in their communities, right at their mosques, at their churches, who are supporting their families and their community through this industry. We also have to take this fight to the mayor's office. He's somebody who has conveniently been kind of detached from being firmly seated at this table. We've talked to the commerce director. We've talked to the managing director, Tumar Alexander, as recently as last week. We've talked to everyone except for the mayor, and we haven't really heard him weigh in on this. So my hope is that over the next 4 or 5 months, we as a collective are able to leverage in on the mayor and get him to weigh in on this, because he's somebody who can certainly appreciate how Airbnbs are part of the economic ecosystem of the city of Philadelphia. I want to leave with the two things that Matei started with. We need to ensure that this is healthy and sustainable. Yeah, they're going to bring up red flags. Well, you have parties, and there was a shooting in Pittsburgh. And these are the types of things they're saying. We're like, we're not in Pittsburgh. We're actually in Philadelphia. They're going to bring up these things. But there's also an opportunity for us to be proactive, for us to be delivering solutions that we've seen work for ourselves, that we've seen work in other communities, and presenting those solutions as the ones that can mitigate the problem rather than just closing down the industry. We've talked about noise ordinance in the past. We've talked about a number of solutions, and I'd love for the panel to kind of offer those to the group, because I think that's where we should be centered. How can we kind of devise a program, devise a system that works for all of you, but also works for the city of Philadelphia? And there's heights in crime, there's heights in poverty, there are some things that the city has to deal with, and that we need to be in partnership with them on. So how can we make this healthy and sustainable? It needs to be all of our collective mission. And once we focus in and hone in on that, I think we'll find great, great success. Now I'll leave you with this final word. My hope, and I don't give any guarantees, but I am pretty good at our job. My hope is to not ever have to deal with the implementation of CMX3 in the city of Philadelphia. We've gotten it delayed twice. We're going to work like gangbusters over the next 5 months to make sure that when 2023 comes along, they've come up with better policy, better solutions, and better systems that can implement a healthy and sustainable industry. Thank you.
Man, appreciate you. Hold on to this real quick. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I mean, I told y'all, this is what Sharing Philadelphia is. This is what we've done. Are y'all excited? Do y'all feel good about this? Yeah. That's right. Give one more round of applause for everybody on the panel. Like, man. And I'm probably gonna get sued for this, but I'm in a superhero outfit. So I'll just say, look, this is y'all's Justice League right here. You know, we got everything. We got all the people that we need. We got Airbnb on board. We got the consultants on board. We've got everybody from the community. You know, like this is what it's all about. So I mean, we're poised to win this. And what we need now is the continued and enhanced support from you guys. So this is what it's all about. So you know what? At this point, I think it'd be really good to talk a little bit about the background, but I want to lead with the results. And we already hinted a lot at this, but you know, as everybody knows at this time, the current ordinance, the enforcement has been pushed to January of 2023, which means none of the things that they've proposed in that bill is being enforced right now. You're not being restricted on Airbnb. You can start a listing. You can do the things you normally are doing until that point. That's a very big victory. But obviously, what's next is we need to use this time to unwind this ordinance or change it for the better. That's why they did this for us. They're like, hey, this is what we got for you. Now just keep this in the ether. Keep this, you know, a public issue. Make sure that, you know, that we're all still talking about this so that when they get back, when council gets back in session, the appetite is there to finish this off. Because that's really where it's at right now. I hate to say it like this because we're really working together, but it's like we have them on the ropes in terms of the folks that want this to be passed. We have to finish it. You know, we can't lay down this round. You know, this is one round. We're almost at the end, you know. I'm going to use a bunch of Rocky references probably next up on this. But I think you guys get what I mean as Philadelphians. We got to finish this fight. So the background was that they proposed this ordinance, like David said, without any of our input, without any of you folks' input. There was no Sharing Philadelphia at the time, and they snuck this in. And by the time we got to really mobilize, they had already brought it up to council and it was getting passed. So at that point, stopping it at that point was too late. Then they proposed an enforcement date. And that enforcement date was gonna be in April of 2022. So that's really when people were really gonna get shut down. So, and that we're a long way, you know, we're a good ways away from that. And then we have, you know, a long time till 2023. So that's when we started working and getting things together and coming together. And we implemented the strategy that I was talking about where, okay, we need to make sure that we meet the decision makers, we do this the right way, introduce the right people, the people that they care about, to them and let them know who's actually being affected by this. And we needed to get the perfect consulting team. We needed to get Airbnb on board. We needed to get, you know, the perfect board members so that we could actually make this happen. So that's what we've been working on since last year, and the results of that has been that we've had delay after delay and a huge delay to 2023. So that's where things are at now, and what I want to really go over now is what, like some of the details of that. So what the goal is, and our ask is that instead of having a CMX3 restriction, which is what bans 70 and maybe 90% of the industry, we remove that and everybody is allowed to get a license, but instead they implement a 3-strike rule. And what that means is if you have the fire marshal come into your place because of a rager or something really egregious, we're not talking about a neighbor complaining, we're talking about something where, yeah, a fire truck is coming or you got the police chief coming or something like that. Anytime you have one of those infractions, that's a strike. And you have 3 strikes, you're out. Your license is revoked. That is what will keep out the bad actors who are, where we're being the scapegoats for all of that, where they're having those party houses where a severe law enforcement has to be called and things like that. So that is our ask, and I'm going to tell you right now, they were very receptive. The folks on our side, the folks that were really pushing to make this happen, they're like, yeah, oh wait, this sounds good. Yeah, okay. So we just need to figure out how to get this stuff implemented. So the delay was the low-hanging fruit. That was the thing to do to make sure that nobody is hurt while we work all of this out. So now we're working on getting this ordinance changed to be more like that, or be like that completely, or just get it removed. And then we have the time to really work in a better ordinance that implements a 3-strike rule that will keep out bad actors but not hurt anybody else in this audience. And everybody gets the chance to get a license. There's no restriction with a CMX3 or anything like that. So you guys have a handout that has this at the top of that sheet. I want you guys to take that with y'all so everybody knows what we're fighting for, because we see this in the Facebook group all the time. We get emails, we're like, hey, what are you guys actually doing? What are you guys asking? It's right there, point blank. That's literally it. And we have the data on what this will do to the industry if this ordinance actually gets passed. And I want to really highlight one other thing. Something that is really on the top of City Council's list is equity and not ruining opportunities for local citizens. Well, guess what? Look at that sheet, and I want you guys to read who this bill really affects, okay? It's not a bunch of fat cats from out of state buying up blocks, buying up neighborhoods. It's local Philadelphians like us, well, like the folks here. Hopefully I'm an honorary Philadelphian, at some point after this. We'll wait till January. We'll wait till January, But seriously, it is local folks. It is folks that are in some of the most marginalized categories in Philadelphia. The industry is made up of 70% women entrepreneurs, over 40% black and brown entrepreneurs. There's about 30% of retirees, people who don't have a pension or don't have the best 401k, and they're using this as their nest egg. These are the folks that are getting hurt by this, and they do not want to hurt those people. Okay, they don't want to hurt us. So a big part of what we've been doing, what's been really resonating, is we've gotten them to understand that, because they literally don't get it. You guys understand that? Like, you guys, this is a new industry. The folks in government, they have no idea. Most of them haven't even used an Airbnb. You see what I mean? Like, actually, no. I want, raise your hands if your parents have used a short-term rental. I'm not raising my hand either. And I'm big in the industry. No, they haven't. I booked it, and then they might have just came over or something, okay? These are the folks that are in city government. They don't understand the industry. They don't understand who it affects. So that's what's been really resonating, and that's what's really taking us to this next level. So, oh, absolutely.
Go. Thanks for that. Sorry to interrupt, but hopefully to build. I think it's also important to recognize that 2023 is an election year in the city of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So not just the mayor of Philadelphia, but every member of city council's name was going to be on the ballot. Many members of city council have speculated or suggested that they may run for mayor of the city of Philadelphia. That requires them to resign to then run, right? So we may see a flood in September of members of council, like Councilman Sanchez, who's been rumored to run, like Councilman Allen Dom, Councilman Green. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 of them who have at least speculated to run. So I think this is a really important time to get in front of these folks, to have these conversations, knowing that it's critical for them that they listen to you. know that they're trying to like play for their lives next year to either retain their seat on council or to be elected mayor. I think you're going to really have a captive audience over the next 5 months. I'm sorry, over the next 5 months, and that's why I think we have an opportunity to get something that's really healthy and sustainable done.
Absolutely. No, for sure. No, that was very important information. So, that's basically the strategy to finish this fight. We've been doing what needs to be done. So what we're doing is continuing that process. And I will say one important thing, and this is a big reason why we need you guys' help. We need you guys' help on the fundraising side, and I'll go into that, but we also need you guys' help to reach out to your council members and make your voice heard. So if you guys have this sheet, turn it around, and it has a full instruction guide on how to contact your city council member. We need every single person in this room to do this. Contact them via phone. If you can't reach them via phone, email them. It literally tells you exactly what to say. It's very simple, but they need to hear from you. If you don't have this sheet, they're on that table over there. Everybody needs to do this, okay? There's no reason, if you care about your business, why you can't do this. It's a simple phone call and an email, and it makes a lot of difference, all right? So that's a big thing that we need to do, because this is what's gonna keep it in the public image. This is what's gonna keep it on their minds. What we're also doing is we've reached out to the press. We have a press release going out to every major publication in Philadelphia and even beyond. Then we did some national publications too. So look out for an op-ed that's going to be coming out, I'd say, very shortly. And if anybody wants to tell their story about their short-term rental, which we do need, this is very important and helpful, reach out to us via our email. So those are two big things that we're doing, and this is to keep this into the public eye so that they can finish this fight. So the second thing, and this is extremely important, is the fundraising side of things. All of the stuff that we've been doing, obviously, it costs money. It costs a lot of money. Not more money than the money you guys are going to lose if this does not go through, though. A fraction of that. If everybody here donates the amount of just one night stay on the weekend, we would reach our fundraising goal of over $7,000 for this time to be able to finish this fight and continue moving forward. We need you guys to donate, and we need you guys to support us. That's the only way we've gotten this far. There is a QR code on the front of this sheet. It goes to the GoFundMe. You can see the donations we've gotten in the past. You can see other people talking about how passionate they are. That amount of funding is what got us to this point. And we don't even need that much at this point to make this happen. But we need to reach $7,000 by the end of tonight to be able to get this going. And this is something that if we all donate, again, the price of one night stay on the weekend, tonight, we'll reach that goal plus more. So I implore you guys to do that. Think of this as the biggest investment you've ever made in your business. If you're thinking about buying a couch, heck no. You do not need to buy a couch right now. You need to save your business, okay? Put that money towards that. The money you made from Made in America Festival, you need to put some of that money towards you doing Made in America in 2023, okay? So look, I just want to know, I'm going to say right now. So everybody heard what I said. If you're going to donate, I want you to say, let me see. If you're going to donate, I want you to say, hell yeah, you're going to donate. Hell yeah. Okay. I love it. I love it. It seemed right. It seemed right. I don't know. I just kind of threw it out there. But yeah, I like what I got back. So if you guys can do that, then we're going to make it. That's really all we need from you, the donations, and we need you guys to reach out to your city council members. It's up to everybody here to do that. And when you're talking to others, tell them about this too. You guys can take a picture of this, send this to your friends. You can put this on Facebook. This works everywhere. Like, we need to spread the word. You guys are the select few. There's 3,000 or more short-term rental hosts. And how many people are here? Maybe a little less than 100, something like that. Look, you guys need to spread the word because this is going to affect over 3,000 people, and plus the people that work with them as well. So I'd say that pretty much explains the strategy. I'm going to leave the floor to anybody else who wants to speak, and then we can go into Q&A. All right, that means I said enough right there. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Good stuff. Go ahead. No, Jose has something to say.
I'll just say a little piece. I mean, listen, guys. This is the front line. This is it. There's no one else that's going to come save you. No one's going to come out of the clouds. Like, the people who are here, these are the ones who are gonna do it. The ones who are in this room, like you guys are all brave enough to have come here, trekked it out. Like the ones who are gonna save the short-term rental industry in Philadelphia is us, the people in this room. It's not the other 2,000 that are not here. It's us. Like there's no one here that's gonna come do it for you. This is where your voice. This is where this is where actually like where each one of our voice is important. All of us. Like united, they can't beat us. Like we are the neighbors, we are the constituents, we are the voters, we are the ones who elect the folks who are literally trying to ban us. So if we unite together, like literally each one of us with one of our votes together, we will beat this, and we have. So far, we have them on the ropes, and this is it. Like this is the front line. That's it. Like no one else is gonna do it, but us, the people in this room. So.
That's right. It's up to you guys. Don't rely on somebody else to do it. We've given you the call to action. It's up to you guys to do it. And we're going to keep serving you guys if you guys, commit to yourselves. That's really all it is. That's all it takes. And then we got this. January will be here before we know it. I want us to be in January with a great outcome and not a bad one. That's really what it's all about. And I see a lot of people raising their hands. I'm really happy. I just want to make sure, Dave, did you say something? Did you want to? Gotcha. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to go into the Q&A part of this session. Now, let me give you guys the rules on this stuff. So if you guys have a question, I'm going to hand you the mic. You need to introduce yourself, say your name, what you do in the industry. Tell us something about if you're a host, tell us something about your properties. Like we want to know our community. Okay, this is a community here, so don't be shy. All right. So, I see a lot of hands going down now. All right, put them back up. Come on now. That must not have been that important. Okay, yeah, he was first right here. Here you go.
How you doing? Is this on?
It's on. Yeah, it's not him.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Cool. My name is Rodney. I'm a commercial broker. We had a couple Airbnbs. I'm down to one, renting my house out, mainly traveling nurses, which has been very cool for the past 18 months, like almost exclusively. Had a two-part question. Well, simple question, then a more general question. You mentioned that you're going to be looking to do the 3-strike rule. Does that mean the licensing process is going to be what they have for owner occupants right now? That's question number one, because just the simple or zoning form and all that. And then second question is I can think of a few people that are not here that would probably want to either donate or be part of this. Do you guys put out content? I know there's a private Airbnb group that someone mentioned, but yeah, do you have a YouTube channel? Are you putting out content places that we could just have something to share? Because I think this could grow real quick. Even just making simple couple-minute videos saying some of the things you're saying.
So you know what? I'll answer the content part, but I'll leave it to the other panelists to answer the other questions because they definitely know this stuff too. So on the content side, I've posted, so even the event in 2021, I posted it on my company's channel, STR Hero. And just to make the distinction, STR Hero, our organization is committed to saving the short-term rental industry worldwide. This is the organization that has applied the strategy to Sharing Philadelphia that has been successful in 10 other cities. So when I found out about what was happening in Philadelphia, I spoke to Jose, I spoke to some other folks, and we were committed to starting Sharing Philadelphia with them and implementing that strategy. So in that, the events that we've done, I've posted that on the YouTube channel, so that's available nationally, but also the videos are on Airbnb Hosts of Philadelphia. So if you're not a member of that Facebook group, you guys should definitely sign up. That is where everybody congregates, like Airbnb-wise and short-term rental-wise in Philly. And that's where we post a lot of our info and updates. Another way to keep track with us, go to sharingphiladelphia.org and sign up to the email list. As soon as you go to that website, it'll have an email box that pops up. Put your email in there. All of our updates are emailed through there as well. So yeah, this is going to be posted, and we'll continue posting stuff on YouTube as well. And I'll make sure that you get the YouTube channel. It's STR Hero. Is that what you were probably going to ask?
I was going to ask if you'd be interested. Does anyone follow Sean Rocky's?
Oh yeah, good buddy of mine. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Doing guest appearances on channels like his. I know.
So it's in the works. It's in the works. I don't want to bring up too much other stuff besides Philly, but there's issues happening in other cities. So Dallas was having some issues, and I do want to say this though, like I want you guys to really feel privileged and feel good about yourselves and supporting over the years or over the year, because unfortunately other cities did not have the same. They did not do the same thing, and they did not have the same outcome. So Atlanta is having big issues right now. Dallas is having big issues right now. Oahu in Hawaii, that's the Honolulu area, having big issues. Guess what? I reached out to all of them. They didn't heed the call. Philadelphia did. Y'all stepped up and y'all listened to what I was saying, and y'all are here right now with a delay to 2023, and they're about to get shut down. So I want you guys to understand, like, you guys are in a very special place. This is not a fluke. This is not happenstance. Like, you guys should feel proud for supporting us the way you have, because other cities have not done the same thing, and they're not following the strategy, so they're not having the same outcome. So you guys should feel really, really good about this. So you have one more question though. You had the first part of your question.
Licensing, is it going to be similar to what you have to do with an owner?
Right. Dave, did you want to cover that?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to make it simpler, right? Much more simple, but I can't say that it'll be the same as what it was previous. So I think we'll come up with something new, working with L&I and the Managing Director's Office.
Fantastic. All right. Let's see. He was up next. All right. You remember the rules, right? State your name, where you're from as well. Like where you stay in Philly.
By Chinatown. Well, more in the front. My name is Yancey. I just wanted to know, I have 2 units by Chinatown. They're 3 bedrooms. So I just wanted to know, like, is it safe to keep expanding, or should we wait till they say something about the new law?
That's a great question. Jose, do you want to answer that one? As a fellow STR host here
Well,
in Philly?
I could say,
Oh yeah, we gotta get the mic, my bad. Nope, it's all good. We're all gonna get the hang of it soon. Here you go.
yeah, so the question was, given that it's been pushed back to January, should one continue to expand their portfolio, and that's what he wanted. I would say, myself, expand cautiously, definitely optimistically, but I wouldn't buy property exclusively to do short-term rentals if it's dependent on the law. But if you're confident that, there's many people who get demand. If you have the demand, if you have the traffic, if you rely on nurses. I get a lot of corporate stays, so I get people staying 3 to 6 months at a time. So I feel confident that I could have longer term people, but I would say just expand cautiously, knowing that come January, we will try our best to beat it, and I'm very confident that we will, but you just never know. So that's what I say. I'm expanding, so, and I'm here, so.
He's putting his money where his mouth is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just have like one more.
Okay.
What are the chances of coming New Year? Like, what do you think? Like 90% chance of winning? 80% chance?
Yeah, I guess I'll answer this one because I get this all the time. In all seriousness, and this is the thing, like, people have kind of, it doesn't look like it, but people have called me a little too humble sometimes, I know it doesn't look like it at all, but yeah, right. So I'm never, even though we've never lost, I'm never the type of person to say, oh, we can never lose. It's 100%. Like, I'm very conservative. Like, in every fight that we've won, we've never lost, again, and I was always conservative. Seriously, at this point, I would say, it was, my percentage would have been lower earlier on because there was just more unknowns. But now that we've reached council and we're, again, you got to understand, like, we've connected, like literally connected, where we got them, we have council members calling us directly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like not their staff, directly, like on speed dial. Do you see what I mean? So, I'd say before, I would say it was probably going to be a 70% chance. Now, I would say it would be more like 80 or 90%. So that's truly how I feel about it.
I'll take that all day.
Absolutely.
I would actually be way more conservative here, and I think it's important that we all recognize why. First, yes, we have achieved a lot in the last almost year. It's been quite some time, right?
Yeah, it's been over a year, technically.
But guys, it's literally up to each and every one of us to get this fight going. Without your individual support and your support and your support, without you reaching out to the right people, to the city hall, to your congressman, we will not get this done.
Correct.
So don't set your minds on the fact that this is a done deal. No, it's not.
Right.
It is really not. I actually would never advise you to invest in new units right now, unless they are CMX3 or above. I think that is a healthy compromise, and I think that's what we should be doing. Most of it, we should focus on finishing the fight.
Exactly. That's really how you got to see it. I really like what Maytu said. And that's why, real quick before you start, I just want to say that's why it's not something that I've never said, oh, 100% we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's even more so because I don't think of it that way. Remember, this was personal for me. So when I was doing it the first time, it was always just, okay, look, I don't know what's going to happen. We need to do this. I'm just focused on the mission at hand. Now we have a track record of 10 cities. So it's even easier to say, oh, we got this, we can do this. But no, I keep it the exact same way as before. Focus on the mission at hand. Y'all need to be focused on, hey, what's the chance of me actually calling my council member like I said I'm going to do? What's the chance of me donating so that we can keep all the operations going? That's what you guys need to be focused on. And I can say this for certain. When people focus on that, there's never been a loss. That's all I got to say. Am I saying that it's 100%? No. But when people, we haven't lost because people focused 100% on helping the cause. That's what you have to really think about now. You can't think about just percentages and then kick back and be like, oh, okay, I think we got this. So I'm really glad you said that, Maytu. That was a great point. So you're up next. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a small business owner and also Airbnb host with 5 properties. So my question to you is, with this funding money is, did you already hire a lawyer to appeal this situations?
That's a great question. So let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and answer this one. So no, I won't need the mic. And notice how in my strategy, what we talked about, we never mentioned attorneys, we never mentioned lawsuit, none of that, right? And this is why. Remember how I said we have a track record of 10 victories, right? And no losses. None of those victories were done via a lawsuit. And we sure as hell researched that. Like in Detroit, we were thinking, that was the first thing we thought, oh, we're going to do a lawsuit. Guess what? When we did the research on that, you want to know how many lawsuits actually made a victory? 0. Lawsuit in the way that the industry's set up right now, where it's at, a lawsuit is the wrong thing to do.
But that's not my question, though.
Well, okay, sure. But did that not give you any context?
No, you're
context?
not. Because
okay.
you have to understand.
Actually, let me answer that. No, we have not spent any money on a lawsuit or any sort of attorney.
I want to say lawsuit. I say when you wanted to help this kind of situation, you need a lawyer to stand out for everybody, not just you. Because I'm sure you can't just go to city and council and speak to you in person like you just said. So with this funding money, I think you should more describe it like zoning lawyer, and are they capable with doing this kind of situation? And like also, who do you talking to? Because it's going to waste a lot of time and money in that before we even invest the fund, because I'm really, really understanding what you're talking about. But I also understand how the situation goes of why they banned Philadelphia is because the hotel lost a lot of money. And also they already stepped out. They already extended your time from April to January right now. And then, like all these things happen because they already work on, I'm not sure if you, but then definitely somebody work on the city, delay the time, but I'm not sure if they're gonna keep delaying because hotel is not only individual, they are franchise. So they will expand it to city slowly. That's why I say, do you have a lawyer or attorney for that?
Gotcha. I'm gonna let Dave answer this one.
Try to give an answer as best I can. One thing I'll say is that we've been working with Sharing Philadelphia for about 6 months now. That's Luminous Strategies. That's our firm. You can easily find us and our track record. We have many lawyers on our team. So any policy that we're developing, any engagement that we have is vetted through many lawyers on our team. To Theron's point, this policy was done without any of our input. And now what we've been able to do is present to the city that they're not even in position to implement these policy changes. So now we're at the table discussing what these policy changes should look like and how they can draft policy changes that they can actually implement, if that makes sense. So L&I does not have the capacity at this current stage to check on all the 5,500 different Airbnb units to ensure that they're compliant. And that's part of the reason why they keep delaying. It's not just our advocacy, it's also they're being unprepared. You have a question? I'm sorry.
Are you aware of the limited lodging?
I'm sorry?
Limited lodging?
Yes, I am.
So when that license comes in, they're already saying that, okay, CMX 3, that's it. You know, I don't think, I do think that they have a chance to go, okay, forget about it. But then they also already gave us a chance for CMX 3 owners and certain, like, you know, they qualify for through Airbnb. I just feel like Philadelphia is not going to go any further. That's my opinion.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you see my
That's
response.
That's why I wanted to make sure that where do you use the funding money goes, because we're already going through like a lot of, you know, went through a lot of
Challenges,
situations
sure.
to understand that, because we're here to help too, you know. But
I
you
can
gotta
appreciate
know, like, there are situations about like zoning lawyers and everything. To appeal this, it wasn't an easy job.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So then maybe. So I guess I will chime in then here. So to your main point, you're mainly asking where is the funding going. So let me explain where the funding is going. The funding is going mainly to support our consultants, Luminous Strategies. They are the people that, how you were saying, you need people to get you into the rooms and do X, Y, and Z and have the relationships. That is where most of the funding is going. The remaining portion of the funding is going to operations of Sharing Philadelphia, being able to do things like this, being able to constantly run the website, send emails, do events, like all of the admin stuff that we have to do, all of the things that we're doing behind the scenes. That's where those funds are going, including STR Hero providing the strategy and doing all the legwork, getting everything going.
But the funding, it didn't sound like it helped in the situations of Airbnb host system.
That's fair. And part of what we're here to do is get feedback, right? So it's like we've done what we've done. We've had success getting to this point, but this is our first time having everybody in the room. So
That's why City of Philadelphia is different than other cities.
And I'm taking in what you're saying, and I'm just saying I appreciate the feedback, and we'll be implementing the strategy moving forward.
For sure. So I'll say the last thing here, and then and we'll definitely go to some other questions. I just want to, because I was a little confused with the comments at first, but I think I understand everything now. So if anybody else is feeling unsure or still feeling trepidation about if we're going to have this victory or not, I guess, I basically said everything that could be said to really explain that. But we understand that if, some people might not feel that, hey, we're not going to make it. If you really feel that way, then we suggest that you just get out of the industry now. And not in like a bad way, prepare or get CMX3 properties if that's how you feel, and everything that we've been doing, everything that we've been showing you, this over a year of work and getting things delayed, that was absolutely because of us and the things that we were doing in the back rooms, talking to these city council members who we now have on speed dial. And I think Dave is being a little humble about things, because he literally was on the front line seeing all this stuff, because he made all of these connections happen. 100%, we would not be where we're at today if we did not do what we were doing. Even without L&I's incompetency, in the beginning when they were delaying it for about a month, 2 months, that was the L&I incompetency. Them going all the way to 2023, that was us. They didn't need to do that. They really did not. And I want you guys to understand, it's not something where they're even necessarily going to be swamped. Because you want to know why? Because the way that they have it set up, it is required for the platforms like Airbnb and VRBO to comply. And Kelly can speak on this, and this is not anything, this is what Airbnb has to do legally. If they did not do that delay, Airbnb already had the system set up to immediately remove people who are not compliant off the platform. It's not something that L&I has to lift. The platforms already have it in their system to do it, and that's what they have to do. That's not their fault. That's what the city is asking them to do. So I want you guys to know, 100%, if we didn't do what we were doing, you guys wouldn't be here today. you guys wouldn't have a business today unless you were in CMX3. So I want to make sure that's clear. If anybody has any other feelings, I definitely, hey, I know it's a scary time right now. I would say, I don't know how else I could convince you. And I think you should just, make your arrangements. That's what I would do if I didn't feel confident about it. But let me ask in the crowd right now, and raise your hand if you feel like that we're gonna win this, if we keep doing what we're doing. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Asantwa Nkrumah Ture, and I live in West Philadelphia. Mr. Dix, you touched on part of my question earlier, but I have two quick questions. One is, since you've been talking to city council members, what has been the response you got from Council Member Alan Dom, who I believe is a real estate developer or works in real estate? And also Council Members Kendra Brooks and Jamie Gaultier, who work on housing issues. That's one thing. I'd like to know their response. And also, everyone in here knows that Philadelphia is notorious for unlicensed landlords and the property that they have let go and have been hazardous, and the fires that we've had in the city. Now, I'm asking this about license and inspections and unlicensed landlords because L&I told me, and has told the news media, they did not have enough full-time inspectors to inspect every piece of property in this city that needs to be inspected. So even if you're successful in your efforts, they still have to inspect property to make sure it's okay. So that's a concern a lot of people have. And I think that's a legitimate concern. So thank you.
I'll do my best to answer your questions. Councilman Dom does not allow for Airbnbs in his properties. So, I'm sorry. In his properties. He's an at-large councilman, so he doesn't have a district. But he's the largest owner of condos in the city of Philadelphia, and he does not allow for Airbnbs in his property. So his position on this has been clear through his history. Councilwoman Jamie Gaultier has been supportive, and I imagine will be joining our coalition when they return in September, as well as Councilwoman Kendra Brooks. They both get the quality of life issue, they get the residential issue, and they want to find ways to mitigate the noise, the potential violence, and the disturbances that can come from it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to get you next. I got you.
Okay.
Here you go.
Hello, my name is Marlene Brubaker. I have a house in the lower part of Northeast Philadelphia. I rented it in 1992, purchased it in 1993, raised 2 children in that house. They're grown, they're moved out. I'd like to keep the house in the family. I got married, so when this fabulous lady was my guest, Samantha knew me right after my husband died. I was still living in the house. I've moved out because I got married. So now I'm in the wonderful land of, according to the flow chart from L&I, I want to offer my house or apartment for short-term rental. Yes. Do I own it? Yes. Am I the primary resident? No. So then I have to get a zoning permit for visitor accommodations. Can't do that because I'm in a residential area. Okay? Now, so here we are. And meanwhile, I've been doing this before Airbnb was invented. My church, I grew up Mennonite, we have a book. It's called Mennonite Your Way. And it's been around since the 70s. And you look up an address, you contact them, you stay, you give them $10 a person a night, or an extra $2 for some meal. And we've been doing this. My grandmother did this in Malvern, Pennsylvania, back in the 70s, okay? Human beings have been doing this. Probably when 2 people had, 2 caves, they're like, oh, can I stay in your cave for, I'll give you a couple of buffalo skins. We've been doing this forever, okay? This is what people do not understand. This is the sharing economy, which is new, but it's like, 80,000 years old, okay? So here I am. I cannot get a zoning permit. I paid $100 for one last Friday, okay? I was told it will be denied. So after it's denied, because it's going to be denied, okay? That's the way this works. So after I paid my $100 to say, so sorry, young lady, 57 years old, but here we go. So I also have to get an architectural drawing. That'll cost a couple $1,000s. Not changing the building in any way, shape, or form, but I still have to get an architectural drawing because, according to their rules, I have to get a zoning permit that identifies the use of the lot as a two-family household living, even though I'm not, because I'm not. But that's what L&I expects you to do, to apply for something that you're not doing, okay? So that's where we are right now. And so that's all that fun stuff. So to get a building permit, guess what I have to add in addition to the architectural drawings? I need, according to them, a sprinkler system in my 3-bedroom house, okay? I now need to put in a sprinkler system, okay? Let me know when this gets a little bit ridiculous. I think we're there already, okay? If I go in front of the zoning board and if they give me a variance, I was told they're not going to even listen to my case until February, which means Airbnb will knock me out January 3rd because L&I will not hear my appeal until February because they are all backed up, as they say, okay? Here we are, okay? It is ridiculous beyond ridiculous. Oh, the second point here is, in addition to getting the zoning permit for visitor accommodations, I have to get a rental license that identifies the use as the Marlene Hotel. I am now going to be a hotel, okay?
And just to jet in real quick, what she's explaining is what a lot of people, most people, are going to have to deal with if this is getting enforced. You're basically, if you're CMX3 compliant, like what they're saying is you're basically going to have to turn your property into a hotel, or it needs to be zoned as a hotel,
Has to be
aka
zoned commercial.
CMX3, zone commercial. That's it's another reason why it's ridiculous. So
Yes.
I'm so glad you were able to stand up and speak to your situation. So, because I feel like that matches what a lot of people, either
And
whether they know it or
L&I
not, that's what they would have to go through if
Yes.
this was to get enforced.
And L&I does not tell us what the total cost is going to be. Again, my tiny bedroom is $19 a night. My middle-sized bedroom, it's only like 9 by 9. It's a glorified closet, you know, but that's how it was built in 1927. My middle bedroom, it goes for $25 a night. My larger bedroom goes for $29 a night. I'm also paying all of the bills, the water bill, the gas bill, the electric bill, the cable bill, any other bills, and all of the taxes, and the 8%. I've been paying the 8% because Airbnb has taken out the 8% hotel and occupancy tax. I've been paying that too. How am I making money? How am I competing with the Hiltons? I'm not so sure.
Right. No. So, and I feel like what your question is like, well, how is this even supposed to work if I have to do all of this
Has
stuff?
anybody gotten through this process?
No. I'm so glad.
No.
Look,
That's
so
my
I want
that's my
everybody to understand
punchline.
what she's saying. Look, and yes, no. So, well, 1 second. That was a you gave a full explanation. You did give a full explanation, but I really am glad that she said that because, guys, that's what you guys, if you're not CMX3 compliant, that's what you'd have to do. She just explained verbally what you're going to have to go through literally. So like that experience, that's how that's going to be. That's why we need to get that going. And you know what? You're coming up right up next. Let me go ahead and get this mic. All right, so we want to get the last bit of questions before we open things back up and you all can mix and mingle again. So, everybody, one question and be quick with your question. Under 20 seconds, all right, with regards to your questions. Go right ahead, introduce yourself and give your quick question.
All right, my name is Robert. I have a home in Philadelphia. I also consider myself a political op because I've had some inner workings with the city. I want to quickly just kind of clarify some things. So what the city did was that out of the total city of Philadelphia, over the past year, they rezoned some neighborhoods. So you have RM1 and RM5. So RM5 is zoned as single family. RM1 is multifamily. So you can still be a single family home in an RM1 neighborhood, which is good. So I have a single family home in an RM1. That's multifamily. So I can do the room rental. So if you're living in it. Yeah, if I'm living in it. Yeah, if you're not living in it, that's a totally different ball game. You basically got to be a hotel owner. But if you're living in it, you have to be, what they proposed was you have to be in an RM1. So you could go to atlas.phila.gov to see where you're zoned at. So I just wanted to put that out there. In general, so my questions is two parts. One is. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it quick. In two parts. So one, can we petition? Because on election day, you can, if we get enough signatures, you can put it on a ballot. Do you think that's a strategy to pull it on a ballot to let the citizens vote? Okay, no, okay. And then the second question, then I'm gonna pass it to them to answer. No, go ahead, real quick. And the second part is that so the city code, I don't know if the city code or the state code, but if it doesn't allow renting of more than 3 people renting rooms in this occupancy, including yourself. So could your firm address any code issues, or that's kind of too much right now?
It'd be hard to get into those kind of coding issues. But I think it's important to notice what Marlene said is the case for most of the operators in the room. Under the current law, you have to have a CMX3. You have to have a
Donate. I gotta go.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll do.
Hold up one second.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up the event.
Let's go to another question.
I appreciate your help. Okay, we got 2 more questions. Real quick, I want to know if anybody has a question. Let's see, does Kelly face it? Yeah. Does anybody? So. One word question. Okay. And then I want to do one question for anybody who has a question for Airbnb. One question though, for Kelly.
Is January the end-all be-all for what's happening in Philadelphia for Airbnb?
So for now it is.
Okay.
Correct.
All I needed.
Yes, for sure. So one last question for an Airbnb related question for Kelly. Where are we at? Yes. All right. Here you go.
The 185-day limit, 180-day limit. What are thoughts on that? Are we working on that? Airbnb could cut us off if the city makes it.
Well, I can say that the way that the law is designed right now, we are not imposing nightcap. We have a certain requirement where people have to present a license, and that's written into the law, and that's what under the current structure will be the case. The 180-day limit is not part of that. You have to present a license to us. I don't want to take liberty for this group of folks here, but I think that within this conversation, right, that's one of those sort of arbitrary, ridiculous things that's thrown into that. It's kind of impossible to enforce, and sort of just a number that's thrown in there probably from different requirements in other statutes that's again, arbitrary. So in terms of what Airbnb's requirements are, again, with the way the law is written, people have to present a license. Night caps are not part of that. I don't even have a good sense of how L&I enforces that. I think it's a very relevant and important question as part of this discussion as it goes on, because there's a lot in all of this, as I think her name was Maureen, I want to say, that just spoke up. It just, the more you pull, it just gets insane. It's all of, you run into these, okay, now you need sprinklers and all of these things. It's not written reflective of the industry, and it's coming from, some other arbitrary space. So kind of an answer, but.
No, I think that was a good one. We're focusing on all of that. Let's put it like that. That is definitely a part of this. All right, so you know what? I think we had a really good session here. We're gonna have a little bit more time. One more? Okay, one more question, guys, and that's gonna be it. I remember you. He came early, so I appreciate you. All right.
So I basically run Airbnbs for other people. So co-host. So do I need a booking agent license on January 3rd if this passes, or is that something Airbnb pays for?
So I would say it depends on how if you're on Airbnb, we are a booking agent. We have that license now. That's, the platforms are required. If you have a separate sort of website that you're operating through, you might be considered a booking agent in that respect. I will gently say that the booking agent license process itself was a bit confusing throughout all of this, but Airbnb is a licensed booking agent. That's how it's set up. If you are going through our platform, then we ostensibly would be the booking agent. I would still, just because all of this is so confusing, the deeper that you go, it's still something that might be worth raising, just to say, like, am I totally clear? Because I've gotten kind of different answers, different questions that I ask. So, but we are a booking agent. We are a licensed booking agent. Your VRBO, like your platforms such as that, are your booking agent in that sense. Yeah.
So I went through L&I, applied for the whole thing. They called me. They said, "Are you Airbnb?" I said, "No, I'm not." So I went through L&I. I applied the whole process. By the way, this cost $7,000. My business would have went. Right. So my business would have went under at this point. I'm a small startup, right? So I went all the way to L&I. The lady called me and said, "Are you Airbnb?" I said, "No, ma'am. I facilitate bookings on behalf of other hosts." And she said, "Okay, you don't need this license." But again, there's a lot of speculation, so.
Yeah, I can add a little bit more clarity. So yeah, they're talking about the $7,000 permit that for booking agents. Listen, I can say that the intent for that was for, again, sites like Airbnb, VRBO, like that is what they're considering as booking agents. I'm not speaking on everything, but that is not something that was the very low-hanging fruit of like, oh, no. That's not what they're trying to impose on hosts or people who do co-hosting or property management companies. Now, if you're trying to be another Airbnb or a VRBO, that's a different situation. But I don't think anybody in this room is trying to be the booking agent and take bookings like Airbnb does on that level. Is that correct? We're all on the same page? Okay, so then that almost 100% doesn't apply to you. That's not the most important thing to focus on, because we know that that's not what they're pushing. Yeah, that's not it. The issue here for everybody here and 3,000 other hosts is CMX3. That's what's going to take out 70% of y'all. So like, you know what? Let me just ask: whose property is CMX3 right now? Who knows that their property is CMX3? You can raise your hand, man. It's all good. Some. He has some, and he was trying to get CMX3 because of the ordinance.
What exactly is that?
So, basically, Center City. Yeah, basically. So it's a commercially zoned. Yeah, and the tagline for that is CMX3 or higher. Wow. So look. Only one person raised their hand in here. Listen, this is why you guys need to support, because all of your properties would not qualify. It would not get a license. Period. So that's the really bad thing about this ordinance. So, okay, guys, this was really, really helpful. I hope this guys helped you guys out. Give everybody a round of applause. This is for y'all, for the panelists. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Again, look. I'm going to ask real quick. Remember we all talked about being supportive? Are y'all going to reach out to y'all's city council members? Yes? Are y'all going to donate to the cause? Yes? Oh, I saw that squinch. I don't know. I think maybe that was a yes. I'll say that was a yes. But all right. So we'll go ahead and we can mix and mingle, and we'll close down soon.